Buongiorno everyone, welcome to the Magpie channel here for lineup predictions for tomorrow night's game at home, St James's Park against Everton. 4:35 p.m. kickoff live on BT Sports. We'll be there, so come say hello if you see us. It's a clash of 19th versus 16th. 3 points for Eddie Howe's Mags will see us lift out of the relegation zone into 17th place, only one spot off of Everton. So it's a huge 3 points. Obviously, in the relegation zone, any 3 points is a huge 3 points. Let alone to lift us out of the bottom three, and even more so to sucker someone on the fringes who probably aren't really at a threat of relegation, probably think that they're comfortable enough to get themselves out of it, sucker them in, bring it in. Because I think people are quite convinced the relegation battle is going to be between us, Watford, Norwich and Burnley. It's a four-man race. Best one survives, basically, as it is. Currently, Watford are just outside of that relegation zone. Is it Watford or is it Norwich? It's Norwich, isn't it? Yeah, so that draw last night, the 0-0 between Burnley and Watford, saw Watford leapfrog us into 18th. So it's Norwich in 17th, Watford, then us second bottom, and currently Burnley, who've got a few games in hand at the bottom. It's only goal difference, keeping us in 19th with Watford in 18th. But yeah, that 0-0 last night, probably a good result looking at it. Didn't really want either one of them to pick up 3 points. So yeah, I think it's quite... and no goals either, so neither of them got a good goal difference lead. So yeah, I'd say that's a good point. So yeah, 3 points tomorrow takes away only 1 point off of Everton, which is massive. Probably going to have a little bit of momentum in them now, Everton. A couple of good signings in the window and a change in manager. As much as obviously we're Newcastle fans and we'll love Rafa Benitez, he had to go really his time at Everton. He was set up to fail, to be fair. Like, Everton fans didn't welcome him as a Liverpool legend, Champions League winner and that. They never wanted him. So yeah, he was up against it from the minute he walked through the door, which is a bit unfortunate for him. But he had to pull the results out the bag. I think he started well, but obviously that sat there in 16th now, only 4 points ahead of us, second off bottom. So yeah, it's not good enough for Everton. But yeah, things may turn around for them. Just going to pop in the comments, see if you can see where. Hello, Jake. Good to see you, mate. Appreciate it as always. So yeah, Everton have only won one game in the last 14 in the Premier League. That kind of thing gets you relegated. Sorry, Rafa, but having a team like Everton, I think Everton's a really, really good team, have been for a long, long time. And for them to be in 16th place, one win in 14, it's drastic that. Like, yeah, so Rafa had to go for a result like that. Only one away win all season. In fact, they've been that bad. Their away record is exactly the same as ours. That's one win, 3 draws, and 6 losses on the road. That's Everton and Newcastle, exactly the same record, only one win away from home. Ours was just the last game, Leeds. So a little bit of momentum. Hopefully that we can push on with that win that we got against Leeds. I think our momentum was building up for a little while prior to that. But yeah, that win was huge. And then had a nice few weeks off. That didn't make sense. Nice couple of weeks off. A few signings come through the door as well. So hopefully momentum will be with us. But they've done well getting Frank Lampard in. That is going to be huge for them, and a huge 4-1 win at the weekend against, was it just yesterday? What day is it? It's Sunday, isn't it? It was just yesterday. 4-1 win against Brentford. Brentford's been a decent Premier League team so far this season. Another one kind of in and around that bracket, just ahead of Everton in the league. Yeah, their only win, their last win in the Premier League came on the 6th of December, a 2-1 win against Arsenal at home. And their only away win was a 2-0 win against Brighton at the Amex in only the 3rd game of the season. Like I say, the start of the season pretty well. 28th of August, that was. It just went tits up from there. So no away win in the Premier League since the 28th of August. Really bad record for them. Frank Lampard, his record against Newcastle as a manager, he's only played twice. as manager of Chelsea and got a 50-50 record, 1 win, 1 loss. So plenty to be taken there against Frank Lampard. Coming in with Ashley Cole, it's going to be his first game as an assistant, as well as ex-Newcastle. I was going to say legend. He wasn't really a legend, but he was certainly a fan favourite. Big Duncan Ferguson. I know I would have liked Duncan Ferguson to be their manager for a while. I think last time he was their caretaker before they got Ancelotti in, done really, really well. And I think he's deserved more of a chance. I feel like it's a bit harsh that he keeps getting overlooked. But it's good that people like Ancelotti and Frank Lampard are keeping him in the setup on the coaching team just to keep him around because he knows the team, he knows them inside out, been there for years and years. And you don't mess with Big Dunk as well. He's the kind of character that you would like on a coaching staff, someone who isn't afraid to tell you what to do. Like he'll stick the nut on you if you're not performing well enough. So yeah, I love Big Dunk, mate. So 4-1 win against Brentford. Donny van de Beek and Dele Alli, their 2 big deadline day signings. They couldn't make their debut against Brentford as they are cup tied, but are in line to make their debut at St James's on Tuesday night. So that's great. Yeah, bit of momentum there. 2 great players, 2 players that I'm fond of. Van de Beek being frozen out of Man United for God knows what reason. Only the year before he signed for them at Ajax, he was nominated for a Ballon d'Or. And for some reason, he can't get a game for Love No Money in Manchester. So other than Tuesday, I hope he kicks on and does really, really well. I think Everton are a good team. I want them to do well. Van de Beek needs to push on. Dele Alli, a bit questionable. Maybe it's his attitude. Maybe it's his character that's ruining his career. Might get a fresh start at Everton. Have to wait and see about that. So they are in line to make their debuts. Abdoulaye Doucouré and Fabien Delph are both out, so they won't be involved, as it's looking like Ben Godfrey won't be either. He was forced off with an injury against Brentford quite early on with a hamstring injury, so he probably won't be considered. He was replaced by Yerry Mina. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, probably their main striker, could come back into contention. He has been out with a bit of an injury, but he has returned to training, so we might get to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin come back against us, unfortunately, because I think he's a great striker as well. When he's on form, like, hasn't really been on it much this season, but when he is on form, like at the start of last season, him and James Rodriguez absolutely ripping it up for Ancelotti's men. But yeah, been injured, but back into contention now. And Andros Townsend and Solomon Rondon, ex-Newcastle players, are in line as well. They're both fit and healthy and ready to go. Just need to shout out quickly Jamesy Turner, fan of the Magpie channel. Appreciate the support, Jamesy. Appreciate it. Interviews darts, just asked us for a shout out. So big up you, James. Good luck with the darts career. Hope you make it, mate, and just hope you enjoy it. That's what it's all about. And to the rest of you, what you're saying? Come on, let's see what you have got. Aaron's looking forward to this game. Will be interesting to see how we line up. Yes, it will. Can see Shaw being dropped and Lascelles playing with Burn. Yeah, I can say the same thing, Aaron. Wait for my lineup prediction. We'll get into all that. 3 debuts, hopefully. A lot of injuries by Everton. Not too sure who else there is, Conrad. Just gone through Doucouré, Delph, and Godfrey, and potentially Calvert-Lewin as well. Other than that, who else is there? They're the only ones that I've picked up on. Hello, Callum. Good to see you, mate. I would love it if we beat them. Yes, I would too. I think we'll win on Tuesday. Lampard, typically defensively abysmal if you can cope with heavy attack, and they just lost another defender, Ben Godfrey. That is a good point. Dealt well with Brentford. 4-1 win there. But yeah, you're right. Hopefully with our new look team, especially with the likes of Sir Maximin, we can go at them, attack, break that defense down, and yeah, hopefully get a result of some kind. Obviously, 3 points is what we need. But yeah, as long as we can get a decent result and a decent performance, that's what I'm looking out for. First Premier League clean sheet for Watford in 2 years. Thank you very much for that information, although it's massively irrelevant. But cheers, Laura. Appreciate the comment. So for this game, it'll be difficult. It's going to be an exciting game. Like, it's mad. Like, we haven't played. Like, Newcastle's always more exciting when we don't play because we can't be disappointed. Like, having a couple of weeks off, they've been out in Saudi Arabia, getting their hot weather training in. We've had a pretty good deadline day transfer window towards the end, last couple of weeks, couple of days in the transfer window, sorry. Yeah, it's been exciting. Well, there's been no games, but we'll see what we'll see what happens on Tuesday. A couple of winnable games coming up. Aston Villa on Sunday as well next week. Going to be a tricky game. Steven Gerrard's men's mad coming up against Lampard and Gerrard. Like, I feel so old. Like, they were legends back in the day for me, and now we're coming up against them as managers. Wayne Rooney doing well at Derby as well down in the Championship. Like, it's like Champ Man, when he played too many seasons on Champ Man and players are starting to become managers, and you think, ooh, I've played a bit too much. Yeah, like, this just isn't realistic anymore. That's where I'm at in life. I'm getting too old for this shit. Callum spoke to Burn and he's ready for Tuesday. Very nice. Thank you very much. Neither will be match fit. Who's neither? I don't know who neither is. As in fit for a full game. Okay. Need to be more specific about that. Don't know who that is. Bruno van der Beek could be tasty and interesting to watch. Certainly will. Jordan doubts Bruno gets a start. All right. That'll be interesting to see. Bruno starts all day long. Is Jamal Lascelles not injured? Well, we're going to get it in Newcastle's team now, and we will say that starting from the top, going to work our way down. So obviously, Callum Wilson being the main one out injured, recovering from a calf problem, so I hear, but still a canny way off. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully be back in a few weeks. But yeah, recovering nicely, I'm told. So a few that were out after the Leeds game. I think a few picked up an injury, missed training. I think they all went out to Saudi Arabia, but they didn't all train and they didn't all start in or play at all in that friendly game that we had. So Martin Dubravka, Paul Dummett, Federico Fernandez, Joe Linton, Emil Kraft, and Matt Ritchie all missed that game through injury. Obviously, it's precaution. Like, anyone who's carrying a slight niggle that aren't 100% fit, you don't play them in them kind of friendlies. It was only a 70-minute game as well. It wasn't even 90 minutes, but anyone who you consider an important player carrying a bit of a niggle, you don't play them. What is the point? So, yeah, they all missed out. Federico Fernandez, you could pick out of that bunch, is one that's been up for a while. And yeah, it has been up for a while. Probably wasn't even in contention at all. But Eddie Howe spoke before deadline day, before that game, in fact. So it was about a week or so ago, saying that Federico Fernandez is back running with the physio, but isn't training, still some way off. So yeah, Federico Fernandez been out for a while and still not ready yet, unfortunately, because it would be nice to have him back as another defensive option. Jamal Lascelles had been training. He didn't start that game in the friendly. He was named on the bench, but did play the second half. So, yeah, Lascelles was a minor doubt in Saudi Arabia, but that's been brushed aside. So, yeah, Jamal Lascelles is fine. Joe Linton and Paul Dummett didn't train prior to the game in Saudi Arabia, but Eddie Howe says that they are supposedly fine. They don't think the injuries are too serious, so just need to keep an eye out on Joe Linton and Paul Dummett. But this is information from about a week ago. Since then, we have been training. We've done a training session to welcome new signing Bruno Guimarães at St. James's the other day. And Dubravka, Joe Linton, and Emil Kraft were all pictured training. So that's good news. So that means Dummett, obviously Fernandez, and Ritchie may not have been involved in that. So, yeah, we might have a few missing. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this is Sunday. We've got training today and tomorrow before the game. So some of them may be picked up. They might get a few more minutes in training and get themselves into contention. But right now, I wouldn't expect to see Dummett, Ritchie, obviously Fernandez. And that's about it. Yeah, so we can't expect to see Dubravka, Joe Linton, Kraft, and Lascelles all back fit. So that's good news. We have got a few debuts lined up, or last-minute signings in Dan Burn, Bruno Guimarães, and Matt Targett on loan from Aston Villa. Are all in contention, are all fit. Someone did mention in the comments there that they don't know if Bruno will start, in fairness. And it is a good question. It is a conversation that me and Pasty Guy had when we done our deadline day little roundup. We went live at about 8 p.m. on deadline day, 3 hours before the window shut. Hoping to get a bit of information, but we didn't get it. mainly on Dan Burn, and hopefully maybe there's a couple others that we were kind of hoping for. A couple of departures. All the departures were really last minute as well. So went live for an hour, but didn't really get much information, unfortunately, in that hour. But yeah, so we're talking about Bruno Guimarães, and he played on, I think it was Wednesday night. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday night in Brazil against Miguel Almiron's Paraguay. Came on as a sub and got an assist. Brilliant play. Really, really classy player. But yeah, so he flew into Newcastle. I think after that game, he flew into Paris. Don't know if he had any business with Leon in that time, but I think he just spent a bit of time, a couple of days in Paris with his girlfriend. Flew into Newcastle. I think it was Friday, maybe. Met with the team, done his photography stuff, had a bit of a training session. Long way. Brazil to Paris to Newcastle. Couple of games for Brazil as well. So maybe a bit fatigued, maybe a bit jet lagged, only a handful of days training before the game. So will he go straight to the starting lineup? All of that in question. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I know you obviously should. Obviously, he's going to be the best midfield player that we've got by a mile. But all of that said, a lot of travel, little training, games, jet lag, flights, and all this. Like, he might not be mentally or physically strong enough right now, may not be at 100% fitness. So it's not crazy to say that he doesn't start, but obviously we'll hope that he does. So let me know what your thoughts about Bruno Guimarães' availability is. So the ones that dropped out of the team are Kieran Clark and Jamal Lewis, no longer in contention for the rest of the season. Obviously, we're out of all cup competitions. We've only got the Premier League to start on, to focus on. So yeah, we won't see Clark or Lewis for the rest of the season. Isaac Hayden either, who was expected to be injured for the majority of it. He may not have even been fit for the rest of the season. So bit of a tactical one there, maybe sensible. A little bit disappointing to see Isaac Hayden be out, because I would have liked to have seen him in contention, even if it is for the last couple of months. I like Isaac Hayden. I think everyone can agree that Kieran Clark didn't want to be, well, none of us wanted Kieran Clark really to be in that team. So not surprised at all with that one. But Jamal Lewis is the surprise package in that one, especially with Paul Dummett being an option. Built of paper, crumbles. Like, he's injured now. Like, came in for a couple of games. I've seen a lot of praise for him, but I don't really think he's done well. He's neither here nor there for me. He's not a centre back. He's not a left back. Too slow. Not good. Not great going forward as a fullback. And injury prone to bits. Can't stay fit. So for many, many reasons, I would have rather have had Jamal Lewis in than Paul Dummett. Even Matt Ritchie as well. You could have taken your pick. Like, Lewis wouldn't have been the guy for me. Like, it should have been Dummett for me. You could argue Ritchie as well, but with how injury prone and lack of consistency really Paul Dummett is, I'm really, really surprised that Jamal Lewis isn't a part of the 25-man squad. At least we know he's fit, he's available, still relatively young, hasn't really had much of a chance at Newcastle. He has had injuries, has been out of favour, hasn't been great. He's had some really good games, but he has been poor as well. Most of them games, obviously, under Steve Bruce. Hasn't really had much of a look in under Eddie Howe. So, yeah, I think the kid deserves a bit of a chance, and I think it's a bit harsh that he's being left out. But in Eddie we trust. He's the man. It was his decision, so got to stand behind the boys. The business, as I said, there was a lot of late business done in the window. That was loan spells. Clark and Lewis actually denied loan spells for some bizarre reason. Kieran Clark should have went to Middlesbrough, but rejected it. And Jamal Lewis had an approach from Birmingham and rejected it. So instead, just going to train with us for the rest of the season without getting any game time. But Matty Longstaff, Jeff Hendrick, he was another one. Yeah, so Jeff Hendrick, what potentially could have went to Middlesbrough, but rejected it, but did end up going to QPR. Matty Longstaff left. Elliot Anderson, Joe White, Freddie Woodman, Jack Young, and Matt Bonswell all left on loan. So good luck to them guys for the rest of the season. Hope you smash it at your respective clubs that you're out on loan to, and hopefully you come back better players in the summer, where we can reassess where you're at in the squad. Will you be kept? Will you be sold? So that's the team news. Let's go and see what you are saying. Right, so just going to jump into the lineup there. They're not going to dick around anymore. Stop talking waffle. Let's see who is in my predicted team. And on the back line, I'm going to discuss it. A couple of things that need addressing. So let's get into it. Obviously, Martin Dubravka in goal. Not really going to talk much about that, apart from he did miss the game that the friendly game in Saudi Arabia through a bit of an injury. Darlow and Mark Gillespie played in that game. Darlow from the start, Gillespie second half, and Woodman was an unused sub, the only unused sub in that game, and then later went off to Bournemouth on loan. Kieran Trippier, why do we even need to talk about Kieran Trippier? Probably maybe alongside Bruno Guimarães, maybe a little bit behind him. Best signing of the window. Absolutely incredible bit of business from Newcastle bringing Kieran Trippier in. Already been named Fun 88 Player of the Month by Newcastle fans. So yeah, Kieran Trippier starts all day long and every day on a Sunday. Going to go into the left back, and Matt Targett starts all day as well for me. Without Jamal Lewis, potentially without Dummett as well. Not too sure about the availability on him. And no Matt Ritchie either, potentially. Not really sure where Dummett and Ritchie are. Unlikely to play, I don't think. So the only other option would be Javier Manquillo, who, if we didn't sign a left back, would have been my choice of left back anyway. The last two times that we have seen him there, he's been brilliant. It could have been like a new signing if we didn't get a left back in. Would have been more than happy moving forward for the rest of the season with Javier Manquillo at left back. But as long as we did have backup from the likes of Jamal Lewis and Matt Ritchie, but right now we don't. So shrewd business getting a player like Matt Targett in. I'm a big fan. I think he's the underrated signing of the window. I think Matt Targett, he's been getting a little bit of sticks in. He's just a backup. He's not that good. Bollocks. I really, really dispute that. Like, I think that's absolute horseshit. I don't agree with that at all. Last season, when Villa had a really, really good year, captained by Jack Grealish, done well. Can't remember where they finished in the league, but had a really, really good year. Had like the famous games against Liverpool. Like, was it 7-2, 7-3, something like that? Smashed the champions. Matt Targett was the only player in that entire squad who played every single minute of every single Premier League game and won Players' Player of the Year. He has been replaced. I think Steven Gerrard, he's come in and done brilliantly, Steven Gerrard. I think he just wanted a bit more depth. It's not really like he's replaced him. He's just potentially upgraded him. He says he wanted two players in each position, which is bang on for me. That's what you've got to do in this league if you want to be taken seriously and you want to go somewhere. It's not like us just having, we'll play Matt Ritchie left back and that's it. Like, Dummett's not available. Lewis isn't available. Or if Ritchie's not available, we've only got Manquillo. You can't go, well, we're all right with Manquillo. No, you need backups. This is why we needed to get the likes of Trippier in, because, yeah, we had Manquillo, and then what we got? Kraft or Murphy. We got rid of Yedlin. And then you've got Callum Wilson. What happens when he gets injured? You got Dwight Gale. This is why you need backups. You need quality players in every position, 2, even 3 times over in some cases. Like, look at Chelsea and City's squad. They don't care who's in their starting 11 because their squad's that deep. They can replace them with anyone. So it was really, really important that we did get a Matt Targett in, a player with so much experience, been around the league for quite a while with both Villa and Southampton. I think he's a brilliant player, very, very underrated signing this one, and one that I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of him. And this is where we get into the centre-back discussion. So this one is 50-50 prediction, 50-50 hopeful maybe, with a little bit of lenience. So I know everybody will want Shaw and Burton as Newcastle fans. I know I can agree. I concur. Shaw and Burn would be the choice of the two. Absolutely agreed. But being realistic, putting your sensible hat on, I think we can all agree that Lascelles won't be dropped because he's the captain and because he's been in the starting 11 for donkeys. Even like under Steve Bruce, he was never really good enough. He's been majorly inconsistent. shite most games, you could say. Has the few good games every now and then, but way few and far between. Could do with being replaced, which is why I'm severely disappointed that we only got Dan Burn, which I don't mean to sound ungrateful or critical in any way, but the defense would have looked a hell of a lot better with like a Diego Carlos. I was going to say Diego Costa there now. Diego Carlos, Sven Botman, any one of the youngsters, Benoit Badiashile, Attila Soloy, the Brazilian from Galatasaray, any of these centre backs, just to double up Burn as well as any other one of them would have just made this look a hell of a lot better, because without Lascelles, we ain't really got anyone else. Because like I say, Dummett, he's not a centre back. He's not fit enough. Fernandez is out at the minute. Like, we're still short on numbers. Really, we really could have done with two. So yeah, Lascelles stays for me. And being absolutely honest, my honest prediction isn't this at all. My honest prediction is Dan Burn starts from the bench, and Lascelles and Shaw continue where they left off against Leeds. So that's my honest prediction, but I just feel we've brought Dan Burn in for a reason. 6'7", having a brilliant season with Brighton, and Newcastle fan. Obviously, you'll die for the club. Put his big ass 6'7" body on the line, and that's what we need. We need that kind of commitment, that level of passion in the team. So that's why we signed him. The defense centre-back particularly was the number one target in the window, which is probably why it was more disappointing. We went after target after target after target, and not Matt Target. We only ended up with Dan Burn. So get him in while we can. And we need leadership. We need a little bit of experience. And I think Lascelles is more experienced than what Shaw is. So that's why it's not even 50-50 really. It's kind of like a three-way tie. So could be Lascelles and Burn. I know we'll want to see Shaw and Burn, but my honest prediction is Shaw and Lascelles. And that's the way I see it. And going forward into the midfield, 3 there, and we'll see another debut. That's 3 there on the board. 4 of our new signings in there, with Bruno Guimarães playing in the middle as the defensive midfielder, with national teammate Joe Linton on the other side. Hopefully he's fit enough. Does seem to be. And Shelvey, the match winner against Leeds, on the other side. And what an improvement that looks already. No Sean Longstaff, no Matty Longstaff, no Isaac Hayden, who gets a bit of criticism every now and then. But Shelvey would have been one of the first names on my out list before Eddie Howe came in. Been pissed off and annoyed with him for years and years. But both Shelvey and Joe Linton are probably the two benefiters of Eddie Howe. Like, both of them have been proper rejuvenated. That haven't had too many bad games between them since Eddie Howe's came in. So yeah, that's brilliant. And then you stick the quality of Bruno in the middle of them as well, and it just makes it look a million times better, doesn't it? That already, with the experience of Target and Trippier out wide, experience of Burn, the young potential quality Brazilian international in Bruno Guimarães, experience from Shelvey. Joe Linton's been like a new signing this season, new centre mid dynamo, Patrick Vieira from Brazil. It just looks so much better, man, doesn't it? So going forward in the final 3, and no surprises really there. Chris Wood is the lone striker, as he has been for the last couple of games. Had a bit of criticisms, but the stats against Leeds were great. His performance maybe on paper didn't look fantastic, but I think it was more aerial duels than anyone else this season. He's hold-up playing. He's just been brilliant. Like, he just needs another partner. Like, that's where Burnley got the best out of him, because Sean Dyche played the shithouse 4-4-2. The two big lads, either him and Ashley Barnes or him and Jay Rodriguez, even Matai Vidra, they would link up well together, and they would play off of each other. Just pumping it up long to Chris Wood. He cannot really do more than win it in the air. he needs more bodies around him. And hopefully he's okay. I believe that he is. While on international duty, New Zealand's game against I think it was Uzbekistan was cancelled because there was a COVID outbreak supposedly in the New Zealand squad. From what I hear, it was only 3 players. I don't know if 3 players you would call an outbreak, but it's because of them 3 players that the international game got cancelled. So hopefully he's been far enough away from them said 3 players that he hasn't picked it up, because without Chris Wood, we might have to start changing the formation a bit, or stick Maxi or someone else in as a false 9, something like that. So, yeah, fingers crossed Chris Wood is available. Alisson Maximin, of course, the main man, got to start. Run at Everton's defence, as someone mentioned before. Frank Lampard's defence isn't always the best, a little bit shaky. And then you got wee man Ryan Fraser. It was a cracker. That wasn't even the word, was it? Can't remember what he said. A screamer. It was a screamer. That was it. Been in great form recently. Very, very underrated. Hard worker. Gets stuck in. Becoming the player that we knew he could be when we first signed him. Obviously, under Steve Bruce, had a lot of injuries. Couldn't really get fit. Couldn't really get into form. Lost his place every now and then. But yeah, working under former manager Eddie Howe again, bringing the best out of him, and he's been playing brilliantly. So for now, Maxi and Fraser, indispensable. When Callum Wilson comes back, that front line just looks a hell of a lot better. With Bruno in there, with Shelvey and Joelinton, with Trippier and Target out wide, and then with Burn to come alongside Lascelles, Shaw and Fernandez when he's back, that team just looks a hell of a lot better than what it did on December 31st. And on the bench there, then we'll have a little look who else may be available. Carl Darlow on the bench, Javier Manquillo as our backup. Left back option, I would say. Well, to be fair, he'd probably be first choice left and right back option, to be fair. Touch wood, nothing happens to Trippier or Target. But if they did, then Manquillo would be my first choice at either position. Then you've got Emil Kraft, who should be available after missing out the game in Saudi Arabia. Did do a last-minute change in putting Kraft in for Paul Dummett, who I don't believe will be fit enough. Then you got Fabian Schär as the centre-back option. Although, as I said before, I do think that might be Dan Burn instead. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And you got Sean Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, Joe Willock, Miggy Almiron, and Dwight Gale as the striking option. So we're going to have a look into your comments, guys, and then we'll talk about the lineup. Let me know what you guys think. Let us see. That's not the most updated one. Gonna have to scroll back. Jake thinks Bruno will be on the bench. Could be. We don't have time to be putting up with the same shit we have been. That's the argument, really, isn't it? It's like, yeah, like Jake says, he thinks Bruno will be on the bench, and I can agree. He may not be too fit, but another argument to that is Wood and Trippier both only had, I think Trippier only had 1 day. Like, I think he only signed on the Friday morning, and then he was in this, it was play Cambridge, straight in the Cambridge starting 11. Chris Wood, I think, had 2 days training. So Bruno's had more training, I guess, but the others haven't come from far. Trippier came from Madrid. Wood came from Burnley. So Bruno's come from Brazil via Paris. And game time, just maybe a bit jet lagged, maybe a bit tired. Not loads of training under his belt. New team, new to the Premier League. That's the only difference. Like everyone else that we've signed, Wood, Trippier, Target, and Burn, all Premier League experienced. So the adjustment isn't necessary. It's already there. So that's maybe one thing you can worry about Bruno. Will he hit the ground running in the Premier League? Is it worth sticking him straight in, having no Premier League experience, all the travelling, all the fatigue, all the games for Brazil and all that? Like, it's questionable. It really is. It's an interesting question. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Will he start or not? 80s Gamer says must start. Eddie Howe started Trippier straight away. I wouldn't put it past him to start Bruno. Yeah, exactly what I just said. If the two never needed that 12th man, it's now. Treat every game like it's the Dirty Markhams. Good point. We do need that 12th man. War flags, getting a big special Brazilian presentation ready for Bruno, as I understand. Callum starting 11, Dubravka, Trippier, Shaw, Burn, Target. As I said, people would want to see. Maxi, Joey, Shelby, Bruno, Fraser. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got then. Yeah, that's exactly what I've got, minus Lascelles in there. Yeah, that's the only change. I know fans want Shaw and Burn, but realistically, can you see it? Do you think that Shaw will... Well, do you think Lascelles will be dropped? And Shaw and Burn will both start. Burn straight in on his debut. Interesting. Scoreline prediction 2-1 to Newcastle. Yeah, probably agree with that one. They all have to start. Reckon Lewis probably thought, I want to stay and fight for my place. He would have been seen as a good thing from manager, but it's bit him in the arse. Yeah, that's a good take, to be fair. Yeah, I can probably agree with that. Yeah, it seemingly didn't need to leave. He just needed to fight for his place, but he probably is down in the pecking order now with Target in, with Manquillo doing really, really well. Trippier can even play on the left as well if he needs be. But yeah, so he's only really got... He's fighting for a backup place, really, with Richie and Dummett. And seemingly at the minute, he's way down in that pecking order. Like, for me, he would be ahead of Richie and Dummett. But he has got the contention of Manquillo now adjusting over to the left and the signing of Target. So, yeah, he probably should have gone on loan, really, shouldn't he? Target is a good player, yeah. I wonder why we never made an offer for Brennan Johnson. I don't know. I don't really know too much about him, to be honest. Oh, people talking about Forest. I've beaten Leicester 4-1. Get on there. You do need two good players in every position, but clubs like Villa are going to struggle to have good players willing to sit on the bench. Yeah, absolutely agreed. Yeah. That's why, like, Man City, they're a bit weird. Like, I don't really have any Man City players in my fantasy team because even the ones that you would expect to start, like De Bruyne, doesn't start week in, week out. They spent mega money on, like, Mahrez. He doesn't start week in, week out. Neither does Grealish at 100 million, Foden, Sterling. None of them start every single game. So you just got to fight, really. Like what someone just said about Jamal Lewis. Fight for your place. Like, you don't get it naturally. Nobody offers you anything in life. You gotta fight for your place, haven't you? You gotta earn a spot. So if a team like Villa, like Steven Gerrard, wants two players in every position, then that's up to you. If you want to both and think, fuck this, I'm gonna go somewhere where I am gonna play, then fair enough, that's on you. But fight for your place, man. Like, all it takes is an injury. Luca Dean's had a couple of red cards this season, so Target could have gotten in there ahead of him. Like I say, all it takes is an injury, duck in form, a bit of rotation, and you're straight back in. And you just got to perform. You've got to do the business and fight for your place. So, bit of an easy way out for me, but I understand it as well. Yeah, you don't want to sit on the bench if you don't think you are going to play. Lascelles can't defend or mark or play football. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Would look better with a lot of them, but they're all unwilling to sell in January and slapping stupid go-away prices on them. Dan Burn in box for set pieces with wood. I got some big lads up top now to stick the noggin on some of them Trippier deliveries, haven't we? Love it. Absolutely love it. Drop the cells, please, Hal. I am not Hal, but I'll pass the message along if and when I see him, which will probably be never. And what's with the shades on in the house? They're not shades, they're just glasses, mate. There's glasses because I got a bad head in that. Yeah, from looking at screen monitors all day. It's shades, not shades. I think Shelby will be deep. Yeah, I've seen some people with a bit of a prediction in that as well, but Shelby's not a DM. Like, I think Bruno, he can't be like a number 6 and a number 8. He is quite versatile. He can do the whole package. He can't sit in front of the back and defend. He's a very good tackler. Good at picking the ball up, good passer, mover, shaker, and a groover. He does absolutely everything, but especially now Hayden's out, we'll lack a DM, and Shelby's not it, and neither's Joe Linton. So for me, I think it's got to be Bruno. I think they all complement each other quite well because you all are very different type of players. Like, not any of them three are the same kind of centre mid. So I think they complement each other well. But yeah, Bruno's got to be the one sitting in front of the three for me. That's probably our best midfield in years. Yeah, absolutely agree. And you got the backup of Willock, who done well in the second half against Leeds, had a bit of a poor season, but we'd like to say a bit more form from him. And Longstaff, who's been a bit better this season than he was last season, but still got a long way to go. And unfortunately, we haven't got Hayden anymore. So with that squad depth, if Hayden was available, then yeah, with them lost, it does look a hell of a lot better. Bruno's just completely changed the dynamic there. Burn was standing captain for Brighton, and Trippier's been a captain as well before. So yeah, I think that is a good point. Yeah, we have made a bit more interesting signings with a bit more of experience, like Wood. I'm sure he's captain of New Zealand. Trippier has got captain experience, so is Burn. Yeah, we need these players like Target. I don't think he's got any captain experience, but the Premier League experience he's got. And that's what we need because, yeah, like Lascelles has been robbing a living for the last few years, just slapping that armband on him, comfy as you like, not going anywhere. Bit of an argument about whether Bruno is a DM or not, but I say he can play. He's both 8 and 6. He's a bit of everything. He can be a 10 if he wants to be. Like, he's the ultimate defensive midfielder. Well, ultimate centre midfielder, whether he's defensive, attacking, ball winner, ball passer, possession guy. Like, he's the lot. So stop your arguing, lads. Just be happy that we've got a good player. You know what I mean? Jake says Bruno's a deep line playmaker. Yeah, he's a bit of everything. Lascelles isn't injured. Yeah. Lascelles shouldn't be in the team. Much rather Shaw. Yeah, I think we'll all agree with that one. Signing Bruno will bring the best out of all the players as we won't be dropping deep as we usually do. I can see players like Willock and Almiron doing better. Yeah, I would agree with that. 3-2 says Pete. Let's have a little bit of a prediction in there. What's everybody's score prediction going to be? I reckon we'll stay up. Well, we need to. That's the dream. That's the ultimate goal, really. Stay up at any cost. Hopefully, we do kick on now. The Leeds win. Hopefully, he's got a bit of momentum forward. But then again, the signings of Wood, Trippier, they've already started. Burn, Target, and Bruno. Hopefully, they'll have a big impact and they'll be good for going forward as well. I think Willock will be better suited alongside Bruno than Shelvey. Maybe so. Maybe. But I think with form at the minute, I don't think Howe drops Shelvey for anyone. Yeah, like Willock's just been inconsistent this season. You could even say not even inconsistent. He's been a bit shite, really. But that last game against Leeds, slow first half, but the second half he was immense. Had a really, really good game. So hopefully that's got his confidence back, and hopefully he can kick on now. And know that he's got to fight for his place now because Bruno's in. You might think, oh Christ, like I'm going to be down the pecking order a bit now. Like Joe Litton and Shelvey's having good seasons. I need to fight for my place. So, like talking about squad depth before and people not getting things easy, fight for it. If you want to play, crack on. Make sure that you show yourself in training that you're better than Shelvey. Bruno will be on the bench according to Jake because he's a foreign player and he's never played in England and the others have. Lascelles' performances have not been good enough for a long time. I'd start Shaw alongside Burn. I agree, but does Eddie Howe? That's the main thing. That's what everyone else is. That's the only thing that matters, really. What does Eddie Howe think? Need a big display for Burn, local lad. Right, so gonna call that a day there then. Thanks very much for your comments, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're just gonna leave that there. Thank you very much for your comments. Not gonna get through the last few, but appreciate it anyway. Make sure that you come back for the next one. The best way to do that would be to subscribe to the channel, put on the notifications, like this video as well. It would be greatly appreciated. just going to show you that lineup one more time that I've got if you're just tuning in late. So, yeah, thanks very much, guys, and thanks to the sponsor, SpiderVPN, as well. Check out all the information about them in the comments below. So, yeah, like, subscribe, guys. Let me know in the comments after you've watched this video what your lineup prediction and score prediction will be. And don't forget to tune in after the game on Tuesday, where there will be the post-match content. And then we'll be back on Friday for lineup predictions for the game against Aston Villa. Thanks very much, guys. Have a good one and enjoy yourself.